Hey SpiceDroppers, it's Charlie from Ferndale here, and we got a lot going on today. First of all, as of this taping, it is National Bourbon Day, so cheers. Second of all, Juneteenth is coming up. Please do yourself a favor and go get educated on some African American history. One of my personal favorites is the story of Madam C.J. Walker, the first female self-made millionaire ever in America. And finally, it is almost Father's Day, so I figured why don't we just make the best man's man meal out there, a little surf and turf! Alright, now for some mise en place. I have salt, pepper, paprika, garlic powder, and I have some olive oil. I'm going with a side of asparagus. I have a nice thick Delmonico here, aka ribeye, and I have 2 lobster tails. I bought the lobster tails at Costco because A, I like that they come thawed out. They were previously frozen, but I don't have to do it myself. If you do have to thaw them out, just put them in the fridge the night before and make sure that they can bend from tip to tail when you take them out. Another reason I like Costco is that all this meat is on there, and a lot of times when you get them at other grocery stores, it's like they cut off some of that meat and you don't get as much in the tail. Now I have about a half of a chimney of charcoal heating up on the grill, and while that's getting ready, let's prep everything. First we have the asparagus. I already rinsed it off. Now all you gotta do, you don't have to cut it, just grab both ends and snap it, and that's where it will naturally break. This is where the tough stuff starts. So we're good here. We're gonna just throw these in a bowl. I already pre-rinsed these, so all we have to do is put our seasoning on now. Just hit it with a little olive oil and some salt and pepper. Mix that up, and that is ready for the grill. Next up, we got the steak. Again, very easy. Salt, pepper, garlic powder. Pat that in, flip it over. Second side, same as the first. Salt, pepper, garlic powder. Ready for the grill. And now we have the lobster tails. So I'm just gonna take my shears and these little flippers here on the bottom. We're just gonna cut those off. This has nothing to do with the flavor, but it just looks nicer when you plate it. Okay, now that all the flippers are gone, we're gonna flip that back over. And what we're gonna do is cut right down the back here, straight down the middle, until you get to the feathery part of the tail. So I'm just gonna take my shears, get kind of under the meat there, and cut these basically one little notch at a time. Alright, when we get to that bottom end right there, we'll stop. And now we got these bones or cartilage or whatever that is. We need to put this on its side and push down gently until those break. And just like that, you can see we've already broken it. Now we're gonna slowly open this up, and now that we have a easier point of view on there, we're gonna go under the meat here with our fingers and just kind of pull it away from the bottom of that exoskeleton. And you see we're separated there now between the meat and the shell. And we just do that all the way down the back. And then you stop when it gets to the bottom there. Now we'll have a beautiful presentation with that resting on top of the shell like that. So now what I'm gonna do, put a little bit of olive oil on there, kind of rub that around, and then just put a little paprika on top of that. And that is ready for the grill. Do the same thing to the other one, do the same thing to however many you're serving. Okay, grill's ready. Side note, I got one side with heat, one side without, because we're gonna do a lot of off-heat cooking. Basically the only thing that's gonna go on that heat is the steak. So first I'm gonna put out the asparagus, and then these lobster tails go over here. And then we put the steak on heat for about 3 minutes aside, but we wanna have that uncovered when it's cooking too. We gotta get that seared, and then we can close the lid up. So I'll see you in 3 minutes. All right, it's been 3 minutes. We got a good flame going. And I just grab this and flip that over. 3 minutes on this side, and that steak's basically done. All right, we were at 3 minutes on the second side. Move that over, looking good there. Move these a little bit closer to that heat. Get everything kind of centered on there. Close this lid up and give it about 3 or 4 minutes there. We're looking for an internal temp of about 130, 135 on both the lobster tails and that steak. All right, it's been about 4 or 5 more minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and take the steak off. The steak was temping at about 127, 128. So we're gonna let that rest while the rest of this keeps cooking. Kind of flip the asparagus here. That's getting nice and juicy. I'm guessing about 5 more minutes on that and we'll be ready to go. All right, it's been 5 minutes, and this stuff is ready to go. That asparagus looks perfect. These lobster tails look phenomenal. Now before we plate up, all we gotta do is make some clarified butter. Okay, clarified butter, super easy. All you're doing, you take some butter and melt it down. I used about 2 tablespoons, but all you're really doing to clarify it is run it through a strainer to take out all the solids. I would recommend a 2-mesh strainer if you can find one. I could not find one, so I have the single mesh, but we're just gonna run that through there. Because I don't have the 2-mesh, you can still see some of those solids on there. Take a spoon and get those off of there. Honestly, you don't really need to do this either because it tastes just as good if it's not clarified. There we go, decently clarified butter. All right, first let's put a little asparagus on there and put that right in the middle here. A few of those. Throw one of these lobster tails on there. Rest that there. We got our butter and we got our steak. Put some parsley on top of this here. And I got a couple lemon chunks we can serve it with. And that is a meal for Father's Day, baby. I don't even want to waste any time. Let's try this. All right, well, I'm going for the lobster first. These Costco lobsters are giant, too. Look at that. Look at that. Dunk that in some butter. SpiceDroppers. Happy Bourbon Day. Happy Juneteenth. And of course, Dad, I love you. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Boom! SpiceDroppers, we did it again.